Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku accuses INEC of meddlesome interference for defending Bola Tinubu at Presidential Election Tribunal. Court nullifies Abia State Governor-elect Alex Oti candidature. All Labour Party candidates in Abia, Kano State. Litre of petrol price drops by 3.87% in April. On the foreign scene, 4 people killed in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo ambush near Gorilla Park. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. We start with politics now. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the last election, Atiku Abubakar, has described the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as a meddlesome interloper for joining itself to defend All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the matter of his eligibility for the 2023 elections. The former vice president made the submission through his counsel, Chris Uche SAN, on Friday at the resumed sitting of the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal. Noel Sampson was there and has details.
At the sitting of the tribunal on Wednesday, proceedings were overshadowed by the drama between chieftains of the two factions of the Labour Party. But the main thrust of the tribunal is in court despite the drama on the sidelines of the proceedings. At the resumed sitting on Friday, PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar, through his lead counsel Chris Uche SAN, insisted that INEC ought to be neutral. He said, however, the electoral umpire had somersaulted by turning itself to a busybody and meddlesome interloper by taking up the defense of APC candidate Bola Tinubu against the provisions of the law.
Surprised that INEC left issues relating to the conduct of the election to begin to fight a proxy war for the second respondent, that's Tinubu, because if you look at the processes filed, all they were saying was to strike out the paragraphs where we pleaded issues relating to Tinubu's qualifications. So we said, no, that is not for INEC to do. Tinubu has his own counsel, APC also has their own counsel. The INEC should have been neutral as far as those issues are concerned and restrict itself to the defense of the election it conducted, which it claims that it conducted in a free and fair manner. That's the point we made.
Meanwhile, the two factional chairmen of the Labour Party were both present at the court after the thoughts would have happened in court on Wednesday. The Independent National Electoral Commission, All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Kashim Shettima have all asked the court to dismiss the application by the petitioners, Peter Obi, and the Labour Party to televise live the ongoing proceedings by the Court of Appeal on the presidential election petition. Reacting to the petitioner, Awa Kalu expressed shock over the prayers of INEC to dismiss the petition.
Yes, the application has been moved. Praying for an order of court to allow Nigerians to participate in the proceedings. For the simple reason that this is a matter of mighty public importance. All Nigerians want to know and to follow and to understand what happens in court every single day. So that application has been moved. It's been responded to by all the respondents.
Chairman of the tribunal, Justice Haruna Simon Simani, reserved ruling on the request until Monday. Meanwhile, pre-hearing will continue on Saturday at 10 a.m. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Oh, there you have it. Still on politics, a federal high court sitting in Kano and presided over by Justice M.N. Yunusa has nullified the candidature of the Abia State Governor-elect Alex Oti and all the candidates of the Labour Party in Abia and Kano State. The court ruled that the emergence was not in compliance with the provisions of the 2022 Electoral Act. The court, in a suit filed by Ibrahim Haruna Ibrahim against the Labour Party and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, ruled that the failure of the Labour Party to submit its membership register to the INEC within 30 days before their primaries renders the process invalid. Trust TV reports that on Wednesday, the Labour Party had accused a breakaway group of the party led by acting national chairman Lamidi Apapa of approaching a court in Kano State to seek the nullification of the party's recent electoral victories. The Labour Party's acting national publicity secretary, Obiora Ifo, who raised the alarm in a statement, alleged that the suspended national legal advisor and a key member of the Apapa group, Samuel Akingbade Oyelekon, on Wednesday, while the Presidential Appeal Tribunal was sitting in Abuja with all intention and attention focused on it, clandestinely sneaked out of Abuja to Kano State, where he, in collaboration with some members of the other political parties, asked the court to invalidate all the elections won by the Labour Party, particularly the National Assembly in the 36 states and FCT, on the ground that the party didn't submit a register of voters to INEC. He added that Akingbade, who presented himself as representing the Labour Party, did not oppose the motion, thus forcing the judge to reserve judgment for Thursday. Ifo went on to ask the judiciary and all law enforcement agencies, including the police and the Department of State Services, the DSS, to note that Akingbade and loyalists of Apapa's faction had ceased to represent the party. Also, the chief spokesperson of Peter Obi, Tanko Yunusa, has said that the Federal High Court judgment nullifying the candidature of Alex Oti, the governor-elect of Abia State, will not stand. Yunusa on Friday explained that the court lacks jurisdiction to hear the electoral matter. However, Yunusa said there is no cause for alarm because the legal team of the Labour Party is already working to appeal the judgment. He said the judgment is the work of the opposition party, noting that the will of Abians will stand. In the March 18 governorship election, Oti polled 175,467 votes to win the election. Also, the coalition of northern groups has reiterated its demand for anti-graft agencies to probe the outgoing officers of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, with a specific focus on the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. CNG spokesperson Abdulaziz Suleiman emphasized that all pending corruption allegations must be addressed before the handover on May 29th. The CNG also condemned all attempts by forces planning to disrupt the transition and urged comprehensive investigations into corrupt practices across government, ministries, departments, agencies, and even the EFCC itself.
CNG is also worried about reports that some top officials of the outgoing administration are planning to leave the country ahead of the handover. We demand that security agencies in the country, including all the anti-graft agencies, work in synergy and ensure that all critical office holders in the outgoing administration, such as the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, did not sneak out of the country before May 29th. We demand that when the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari bows out of office, all key office holders must be asked to clear themselves of all pending corruption and other allegations against them. We insist, in particular, that the CBN governor must be made to give an account of his tenure to the incoming administration. We demand that if any study leave has been approved for Emefiele or any other suspected official, it should be cancelled in the interest of peaceful transfer of power, accountability, and good governance.
Also, women in Benue State have accused political parties of shortchanging them in the 2023 general elections, following the near 0% of women that recorded electoral victories. To make up for that, they are asking the governor-elect to give women more opportunities in appointive position when sworn in as governor. Jimmy Adzandi reports.
A cross-section of the women want the governor-elect to give them opportunities to serve since they lost out in the elections.
He should put women as his priority. Why? Because if we go about the ratio of percentage of women to men in Benue State that voted him into office, I think he's supposed to consider us and give us some slots to work with him. Because they say where there is no women, I think the success is limited. But once you have women around, then I think progress will be. And what we want him to do is we want progress work in Benue State. We want him to achieve. And that's what we want him to achieve. We want him to have us in mind and include women in areas that he knows that is key to us to work with him. When I mean work with him, with him for success. So that Benue State will be a change place, a place that all of us will be proud of, and a place that will say, yes, our father, that father that all of us came out and voted on.
Some of the women suggested areas where they expect the governor-elect to demonstrate his gender sensitivity.
Benue State has celebrated the coming of Reverend Dr. Father Hyacinth Alia so much, and we the women are not out of it. I saw lately a uniform of some 20 women who have decided to make themselves useful in his administration, even though they've not come out properly to say that to him one-on-one. I am hopeful that with all the jubilation going about, most especially from that group, the women groups in the state, and even those in academics where I belong, we are hopeful that he will find the women worthy of some appointment.
To other women, the elective rules are not enough, hence they are of the opinion that women can better contribute their quota through appointments.
You know, sometimes they just give some women some appointments and we think that balances it out. No, I don't think it does. For me, women are not doing very well when it comes to elective positions. I'm hoping that changes as time goes on, but when we say as time goes on, this political season is almost rounding up, which means we're looking at another 4 years before women come up again. I think there's still much to be done. I think political parties need to seriously look into the issues of bringing women on board. I think as a society in Benue State, we still also need to encourage more women to come out and, you know, participate as candidates of various parties.
In less than 2 weeks, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia will take off of office as the 6th democratically elected governor of Benue State. As the day inches closer, residents have continued to pour out their individual and collective expectations from the new administration.
To security now, police in Anambra State say they have rescued 2 individuals who were kidnapped during Tuesday's attack on the U.S. consulate convoy in Ogbaru local government area. According to a statement by the spokesman of the Anambra State Police Command, DSP Ikenga Tochukwu, the rescue took place in the early hours of Thursday. Apologies there. The rescue comes just a day after police arrested 2 suspects in connection with Tuesday's attack. Preliminary investigations conducted by the police revealed that 7 persons were killed in the assault. Of the 7, 3 were U.S. consulate officials and 4 were mobile police escorts. Also, the Zamfara State Police Command, the Zamfara State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, says it has intercepted a truck laden with 70 drums of calcium chloride worth 5.9 million naira, which were taken out of the state to Kano. The commandant of the Corps, Mohammed Bello, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Gusau, the state capital, where he also said that 9 suspects were arrested and have been charged to court, the Upper Sharia Court 1 for prosecution. Take a look.
According to the Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) in Zamfara State, Mohammed Bello, he said 70 drums of the chemical recovered from the suspect by operatives of the Corps along Lalan area of Gusau Metropolis were donated to the state government by the United Nations Children Emergency Funds (UNICEF). He said it was donated through the Zamfara State Ministry of Rural Development to the State Rural Water and Sanitation Agency (RWASAN) to treat water that has been provided to the rural communities. Bello claimed that perpetrators of the act had bribed operatives of the command with 100,000 naira to allow them to go with the 70 drums of the calcium chloride, which cost 85,000 naira each. But the NSCDC operatives refused and collected the money as exhibit.
You may recall that on the 3rd May 2023, I summoned the press community in the state to break the news of our arrest and interception of the said chemical. Since then, the Corps has frantically made urgent efforts to investigate this case institute arrest and made requests for logistics and documents where necessary to enable us to nail the culprit appropriately.
The NSCDC commandant told journalists that the 9 suspects have been charged to court already for prosecution, adding that for the 3 others who are now at large, the court has given the court adequate time to go after, apprehend and bring them to court on the next adjourned date of 23rd May. He vowed to decisively deal with the perpetrators of the crime whose activities in Zamfara State are worsening the water scarcity being faced in Gusau metropolis, with an attendant increase in the price of water by vendors and the death of several children who recently went to search for water for domestic use.
I wish to intimate the press that all relevant stakeholders that needed to be grilled in connection to this matter have been invited and questioned properly without prejudice. Those peddling fake news and blackmails of the core with regard to this matter, it is my candid advice should desist henceforth, as matter in question is already in court.
Mohammed Bello also decried the command's constraint with logistics to go to Kano and Katsina states to fish out and arrest other accomplices.
First Lady Aisha Buhari has said Nigerian presidents do not need to seek medical treatment abroad anymore. She said this after President Muhammadu Buhari commissioned the new 21 billion naira presidential VIP wing of the State House Medical Center located within the precincts of the presidential villa in Abuja. Speaking to State House reporters after the president had caught the tape and concluded a guided tour of the facility, Aisha Buhari said the facility would stop the need for President and his family members to go abroad for medical treatment. The First Lady said she bought the idea of executing the project 6 years ago, following the extensive stay of her husband abroad for medical treatment. President Buhari, while speaking, said the new state-of-the-art presidential VIP wing of the State House Medical Center in Abuja would boost health infrastructure in the country by far and called for judicious use of the facility to maximize its benefits. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. We take a look at a viable alternative to orthodox medicine. This and more when we return.
The Federal Ministry of Health, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, hereby announces the official launch of the Community-Based Health Research Innovative Training and Services Program, CRIS, with the theme, Optimizing PHC Human Resources to Transform Primary Health Care. CRIS is a collaborative effort of the NPHCDA, teaching hospitals, federal medical centers, FMCs, states, local government areas, and development partners to improve the quality of primary healthcare service delivery in Nigeria. During the event, there will also be the launching of other critical policy guidelines, as well as presentation of state's performance report from the conducted national PHC assessment. We heartily welcome the special guest of honor, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON, and primary healthcare stakeholders to the launch. Date is 22nd May 2023. Venue, Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. prompt. Dr. Faisal Shuaib, Executive Director, CEO, NPHCDA, Announcer.
documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is News Hour. Now a recap on our major stories. Police rescue 2 persons abducted during attack on U.S. Embassy staff in Anambra. Also, court nullifies Abia State Governor-elect Alex Oti candidature. All Labour Party candidates in Abia, Kano State. Moving on, the Nigeria Police Force has paraded 10 suspects for kidnapping along the Ughelli and Sapele axis of Delta State. Police Public Relations Officer of the Delta State Command, Bright Edafe, explained that 2 groups of suspects had been involved in abduction of individuals for ransom in the past 2 months. Edafe reiterated the commitment of the Commissioner of Police, Delta State, Wale Abbas, to smoke out criminals from their hideouts in the state and make Delta State very peaceful for the law-abiding residents.
To the Ughelli Axis, arrested a kidnap syndicate. There are 3 in number. Unfortunately, one of them escaped. But we have 2 of them here, and you interview them, you hear from them. They are talking and they have been helping us with useful information. They also noted that they once kidnapped a couple in Ughelli. That's the person of Mr. and Mrs. Efe Tobore that was kidnapped on the 27th of April 2023, where they collected the ransom of 1 million naira before they were released. It is important to showcase them to the world, for the world to know that the command, we are not resting. We are not resting because we want Deltans to sleep with their 2 eyes closed.
Now, he go call us. When he do work, he go call us. He will call meet him. Or we go meet him. And house we go go meet him. Or we meet him for Yasin. Go call one bike man. Maybe the bike man call carry us. Go we go. The bike man will call carry us go the place. When he do show the bike man, now we call carry us go there. They will call hang around the premises. So when the person enter the compound, we call follow them, go inside.
I never key once. We group never key. Now money where they collect, the one they give me now, the first one at 30,000, the second one at 20,000.
I dey feel bad because I don't lose like this. I don't lose my motor now. They say na thief man at buy na Yahoo man at buy my motor.
Also, the Borno State Police Command has arrested a repentant Boko Haram terrorist, including 110 other suspects, for committing various crimes in the state. The suspects were involved in kidnapping, armed robbery, rape, theft, and unlawful possession of firearms. The report.
The Borno Police Command, while briefing newsmen on latest updates and development on crime and criminality in the state from January to date, said it has recorded successes through its strategic operations to sustain peace in the metropolis. Police Commissioner Abdul Umar said the command is currently investigating 70 cases of crimes and offences committed by 110 suspects. He revealed that the suspects are involved in kidnapping, armed robbery, rape, culpable homicide, homosexuality, illegal drugs, unlawful possession of firearms, to mention a few.
We equally have cases of these malians, these hoodlums that move around town, terrorizing individuals, attacking them with knives, and dispossessing them of their valuables and money. Few of them were arrested.
The police has in its custody 6 kidnappers, 6 rapists, 5 arrested for armed robbery, while 1 suspect who illegally possessed firearms and 1 repentant Boko Haram terrorist named Mohammed Ibrahim were arrested for theft.
Ina abin nan matan ya dauke ni aiki ne kuma ya ce mun a wata yana zai biya ni ya ce kuma bai biya ni a watan ba.
I was working for one woman. She didn't pay me for 4 months, so I decided to steal her things after sacking me. What made her sack me was because we had a quarrel with one of the ladies in her house. Some armed robbers operating along Damasak Road saw policemen coming and ran away and left their arms. The policemen saw me there and arrested me. We were 7, but others escaped. The Borno State Police Command says it will continue to maintain law and order and also prevent and foil plans of criminals across the state. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle has accused the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, of demanding $2 million bribe from him. He made the allegation amid the growing rift between the governor and the anti-graft agency. In a statement on Wednesday, Matawalle called for Bawa's resignation, saying he had questions to answer on corruption. But the EFCC chairman responded that he had nothing to hide and asked Matawalle to petition appropriate authorities if he had any evidence against him. In an interview with BBC Hausa, Matawalle insisted that Bawa could not be trusted. According to him, Bawa requested a bribe of $2 million from him, and he has evidence of this. He said Bawa knows the house they met, adding that he told him that governors were going to his office. Contacted for reaction, Wilson Owajuren, spokesman of the anti-graft agency, said he had not seen the story, so he could not respond. When told it was on BBC Hausa where Matawalle spoke, he said he could not speak Hausa and as such asked that the story link be sent to him for a response, but he had not responded as at the time of filing this report. Also, residents of Dadinkowa town, a host community to the Dadinkowa hydropower plant, have called on the Marburn Energy Limited and the federal government to solve the problem of electricity supply in the area. The demands coincided with the official flag off on Friday of the multi-billion naira Dadinkowa power plant, which has the capacity of generating 40 megawatts of electricity. Some members of the Dadinkowa community in Gombe State displayed placards expressing their demands. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The electricity component of the Dadinkowa hydropower plant has just been commissioned 35 years after the contract was awarded by the federal government. The plant, which can generate 40 megawatts of electricity, is being handled by Marburn Energy Limited. This inauguration should be a joy to the residents of Dadinkowa, which is the host community of the massive project. But residents of the community have some demands.
We are really suffering about the issue of electricity, and now we are generating. We are succeeded to generate 40 megawatt here in Dadinkowa. We are pleading to government to consider the community how to benefit that electricity that today commissioned here in Dadinkowa. That is our prayer.
We want full support of electricity. We want electricity because we have the problem of electricity in our community.
Limited to power generation, but it can irrigate over 30,000 hectares net. Water supply, it has a capacity to process over 50 million liters per day.
Gombe State government said it is working to generate 200 megawatts of electricity through a solar power project.
The Dadinkowa hydropower project represents an important milestone in the energy independence of the northeast of region. This and the Kashimula hydropower projects are the only grid generating plants in the northeast of region, and therefore they are crucial to the grid and voltage stability in the sub-region.
The potential socio-economic impact of hydropower cannot be overemphasized. It will have tremendous multiplying impact on the people of Gombe State and environs. It is expected to support the incremental power policy of the current administration.
With the inauguration of the Dadinkowa hydropower plant, expectations are high from Gombe residents. The host community is hoping to be connected directly to the plant and is looking forward to an improvement of power supply. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
With barely few days to the end of President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, his alma mater, Dikko College, Katsina remains in critical condition. Dikko College, popularly known as Government College Katsina, was built for total renovation since 2020, but till date, teaching and learning continue to suffer setbacks. The contract, which was awarded to a foreign contractor, was abandoned, forcing over 5,000 students to continue learning in squalid conditions. Abdullahi Amadi, who visited the school for the second time in 1 month, reports that despite forcing the students and teachers out of Dikko College into untold hardship, nothing is being done by the contractor to actualize the project. His report.
The contract, which was awarded by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), had a completion period of 20 months only, but is running into its third year, but still not completed. The contractor partially returned to the site a day after Trust TV reported that he abandoned the project for reason not made known to public. However, some teachers of Dikko College Katsina who preferred to speak off camera said that the partial return of the contractor to the site was only to clear some water channels to prevent damage to his initial work when it rains. They also alleged that the contractor is planning to leave the site as soon as the tenure of the current Buhari administration winds up on May 29. Some of the students who were sitting for West Africa examination WAEC lament the hardship the contractor subjected them to, calling on President Muhammadu Buhari to intervene before he leaves office.
As you can see in the school, we have so many problems because we are using a laboratory for class.
This class is lab. It is not a class. We are managing it. We want the government to come and help us to continue building so as they can finish this building that they can start.
The class is dirty, but our teachers are trying very good.
When contacted for comment, one of the site engineers said no reporter has right to write anything about the renovation works at the school without his prior permission. Dikko College, popularly known as Government College Katsina, is one of the pioneer institutions in northern Nigeria, but is suffering neglect from successive administrations in the state.
Look at the classroom. Look at this environment. They are all dilapidated, and they didn't repair the classroom. How can they come to study? It is unfortunate.
We visited the college about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and we saw that the work has been stopped. So we were appealed to the President, please, and the Minister of Education to try and appeal to the CBN to complete this job immediately, so that we will be very much happier. We feel that if the brand goes, we don't know what will happen again to this project.
People with stake in the school are hoping that prominent old boys of the premier institution will do something to salvage it from its current predicaments. Abdullahi Ismail Amadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Thank you, Abdullahi Amadi, for that report. Moving on, government at all levels have been urged to put in place proper legislation to protect the interests of widows and widowers who are being subjected to cultural injustice. Human rights activists made the call in Ibadan on Friday, stressing that there was a need to end stigmatization of widows and widowers by society. The activists also called on government to provide support programs for widows that would protect their interest and welfare.
My message to the federal government is for them to do the needful, and I hope that the new president will stand up and do what is needful. Not only for widows, there are other segments of the federation that need help, because Nigeria belongs to everybody. Without everybody, Nigeria cannot exist. So they should be able to help those people who don't have enough.
There are laws in place and we are grateful. They give them foodstuffs and we are so grateful. But we also want to get that bridge between the laws and the practicalities. Sometimes they go to police stations, like we were told, and the policemen will tell them that it's a family matter, that they should go back. So we just need the government to be more involved, make group groups, support groups with the widows and attend those groups?
I think in the budget of the state and the nation, they should consider the widows in their budget. And also roll out programs for the widows and their children. Widows, because we also have widower. I'm a widower, but I'm grateful to God because I belong to an organization, a church that takes care of the widowers and the widows.
Some residents of the FCT have called on government and well-meaning Nigerians to cooperate with auctioneers to enable them achieve set objectives. Kabir Lawal in this report finds out how residents at all levels can be educated and have access to auctioneers. His report.
The National Association of Auctioneers President Musa Kura Abubakar expressed readiness to collaborate with other stakeholders to make the association worthwhile, adding that the association will work towards helping to build a strong and sustainable economy.
The Nigerian Association of Auctioneers, with its widespread membership across all the geopolitical zones of the country, has continued to reach out and mobilize our teeming population to embrace peace. You have to pay PENCOM, you have to pay NSITF, you have to pay ITF, and this is what we pay every year. When you finish paying all those ones and you renew all those documents, you now approach the DPP. They will now give you clearance that you should participate in any auction that is taking place. Without that, no ministry or no any agency of the government will organize you. They will not accept you even if you apply. Unless all your documents are up to date.
The vice president of the association, Aloysius Nwokoro, said the group will always make it a duty to enlighten residents in remote areas on the association's activities.
We do create what we call poster adverts, something like this, and we take them to the streets, place them all over. Those who are passing by, who don't have money to buy newspaper, reads them and also joins the auction. And that's why in most cases when we are doing auction, we come there, you see a large crowd, and you'll be asking, where did these people come from? Who invited them? It's because of the way we reach out to the public.
A cross-section of people that spoke to Trust TV News said the association still needs to do more to make people have access to them at all times.
Government should make auctioning more pronounced in Nigeria by making the platform more open, and as well as using the internet services such as newspaper publications and other means of publications, print medias and the rest of them.
The National Association of Auctioneers are not doing badly, at least in terms of promoting the profession, because already they have made a mark by signifying the importance of the profession. But then, of course, there is a need for them, all right, to actually start propagating the association and the profession so that people are able to recognize the importance of auctioning.
The Nigerian auctioneers said it is ready to ensure that all national assets auctioned get a better deal while monies realized from sales to get to government coffers. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Traditional bone setting has become popular due to rampant accidents in Nigeria, which have resulted in a large number of bone fractures. In addition to road accidents, many domestic accidents on a daily basis also result in bone fractures. Some Nigerians believe that patronizing traditional bone setters is cheaper. Trust TV's Adamu Imam has more on this.
Nigeria has a high rate of road accident on daily basis, resulted in high number of fractured people, evidently due to high speeding, blatantly breaking traffic rules. On the other hand, domestic and work-related accident is on the high side. These residents of Bauchi represent a large number of people who prefer traditional bone setters to hospitals.
Some of them, even if we take these patients to them, they will reject it. They will say, please go to the hospital. Especially when it is a serious fracture with a lot of blood, bleeding and missing. When it is seriously an injury that they cannot heal, they refer you to the hospital. But if it is very simple, normal dislocation, or simple fracture, usually they take care of it. Even now, it is readily available. You can go there at night, you can go there, you don't need any long protocol. That is one thing that is making people to patronize it.
Before, they usually operate without technology, but now it's everywhere and it has come to stay. Somebody must be checked thoroughly before allowing them to touch any fracture. Aside of that, people resorted to cheaper traditional bone setting because it's less cost. Sam'an Maman and his brother confirmed they inherited the job and they can set simple fractures as well as shattered bones and rub medicine for quick recovery. We inherited this job hoping to continue like that. Our sons will emulate, and we always try to modernize it. Before we treat people here, we do send them laboratory for x-ray so that we cross-check the fracture while setting the bones proper. One of our problems here is that some patients are eager to recover and they try to stand up or move in while the fracture is not healed. Usually, we give them specific time for healing, and as a result of that, they end up without getting good results as far as their fracture is concerned. So it's a big challenge to us. However, according to the traditional setters, there are some fractures that are complicated, which are always referred to orthopedic hospitals to complement their work. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
This is Trust News Hour. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Oluwatoyin Shakirat Madeyin as the substantive accountant general of the Federation. This was contained in a circular by the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemiesha, dated 19th May 2023 and signed by the Director of Communications in our office, Malam Muhammad Abdullahi Ahmed, on Friday in Abuja. She said that the appointment took effect from Thursday, May 18, 2023. Oluwatoyin Madeyin hails from Ikperu Remo in Ikene local government of Ondo State and was born on the 7th of March 1965. Until her appointment, she was the Director of Finance and Accounts in the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. Madeyin is taking over from the former AGF Ahmed Idris, who was sacked by President Muhammadu Buhari and is currently undergoing trial by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over not less than 100 billion naira corruption scandal. Idris, who was appointed Accountant General on the 25th of June 2015, took over from Jonah Oguniyi Otunla, who was also sacked by President Muhammadu Buhari on allegedly misappropriating 2.5 billion naira of security agencies' funds. Also, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says the average retail price of a litre of petrol witnessed a drop from 264.29 naira in March to 254.06 naira in April 2023. This is according to the NBS Petrol Price Watch released in Abuja on Friday. It stated that the April 2023 price of petrol was 254 naira 0.6 kobo, represented a 3.87% decrease over the price of 264.29 naira recorded in March 2023. However, the average retail price of a litre of petrol increased on a year-on-year basis from 172.61 naira recorded in April 2022 to 254.06 naira in April 2023. It stated that the April 2023 price of 254.06 naira represented a 47.18% increase over the price of 172.61 naira recorded in April 2022. Analysis by zone, the NBS said, showed that the Southeast recorded the highest average retail price in April 2023 at 291.15 naira, while the North Central recorded the lowest at 208.88 naira. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for more on business news.
The Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, says it shared 655.93 billion naira among the three tiers of government in April 2023. Details of the disbursement were contained in a communique issued at the end of the committee's meeting for May 2023 in Abuja. The figure shows a decrease of 58.69 billion naira compared to the 714.62 billion naira shared in March. The committee said the 655.93 billion naira total distributable revenue is comprised of distributable statutory revenue of 364.65 billion naira, distributable value-added tax sum of 202.76 billion naira, and electronic money transfer levy of 14.51 billion naira. According to the communique, the total amount also includes 50 billion naira augmentation from forex equalization revenue and 24 billion naira augmentation from non-mineral revenue. A total sum of 28.21 billion naira was shared with oil-producing states as 13% derivation revenue. The United Nations has revealed that the global inflation rate is expected to decline from 7.5% in 2022 to 5.2% in 2023. The UN stated that its forecast is based on reduced food and energy prices and softening global demand. This was disclosed in its report titled World Economic Situation and Prospects as of mid-2023. The UN acknowledged that inflation has been easing in recent months as it is expected to remain above central bank targets in 2023. The UN, however, warned that despite global food prices declining since mid-2022, domestic food inflation has often stayed elevated due to the number of factors, including still high import costs, local supply disruptions, and market imperfections. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Thank you, Chiamaka, for that. And now to the foreign scene. Assailants killed 3 rangers and another member of their convoy in an ambush in the volatile east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The attackers struck as the convoy, escorted by ICCN rangers, left Kivandia village near Virunga National Park, which is home to half the global population of endangered mountain gorillas and the scene of frequent militia attacks. The 4th victim was one of the technical workers implementing a project to support communities around Virunga. A further 6 people were wounded. Virunga has been caught in the middle of militia activity that has destabilized the surrounding South Kivu province since civil wars were fought around the turn of the century. The ICCN warned of a resurgence of violence in February after suspected Mai militants attacked a ranger position in Virunga, killing 1 person and injuring 2. The Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has been plagued by fighting by at least 122 rebel groups, according to a recent count by the United Nations, for more than 25 years. And in sports, Formula One says it will donate €1 million to a relief fund for the Emilia-Romagna flooding disaster. This weekend's Grand Prix at Imola in northeastern Italy was cancelled after heavy rain caused fatalities and displaced thousands from their homes. The money will be used by the Emilia-Romagna Region's Agency for Territorial Safety and Civil Protection. F1 has also arranged for food that would have been used in hospitality to be distributed to those in need. It has been donated to a group organizing food banks and distribution for those affected by the floods. F1's move comes a day after Ferrari, whose Maranello factory is in Emilia-Romagna, was donating the same amount to disaster relief. F1 President and Chief Executive Stefano Domenicali, who is from Imola, described the event in the region as a tragedy. And the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has confirmed Côte d'Ivoire as the host for 2023 CAF Women's Champions League on Thursday. The announcement was made after a CAF Executive Committee meeting in Algiers as Moroccan Football Federation withdrew from its bidding race to reclaim the hosting rights, paving ways for the Ivorians. President of Royal Moroccan Football Federation, Fawzi Lekja, confirmed the withdrawal of the North African country from hosting the event. The development is significant as it will ensure that the next finals, which will actually take place outside the North African region for the first time in its history in 2023, will also be held in the West African nation for the first time. With Côte d'Ivoire set to host the upcoming 34th edition of the Africa's Cup of Nations, the West African country will see the women's club competition as a huge platform to prepare for the men's biggest showpiece. Let's now join Adeniyi Ajisafe for more on sports.
The Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Sunday Dare, has charged Nigerian Scrabble Federation to hunt for more talent at the grassroots to retain their present status as world number 1. Dare said Nigeria is proud of Scrabble Federation for standing out as number 1 Scrabble playing nation in the world, urging them to hold the position through discovery and nurturing of talent from the grassroots when Scrabble Federation presented the Pan-African Scrabble Championship Trophy, a maiden tour of Africa, to the minister in Abuja. The minister commended 8-year-old master Xavier Onazi, national junior Scrabble champion, for his feat in Scrabble for Nigeria, assuring that the ministry will support his education and tournaments as part of its talent hunt program. Dare stated further that the future of sport in Nigeria is bright with the passage of National Sport Industry Policy (NSIP), which reclassifies sport as business and non-recreation to improve funding of sport as an obligation of the 3 tiers of government, private sector and stakeholders. Dare called on Scrabble Federation to create more awareness on the forthcoming Pan-African Scrabble Championship in August 2023 to be hosted by Nigeria. And in football, The World Soccer Governing Body, FIFA, on Thursday commenced preparation for 2026 World Cup, which will be co-hosted by 3 countries. Korea and Japan 2002 was the first World Cup co-hosted, while 2026 World Cup will have 3 host countries, which include Canada, Mexico, and the United States. The competition will also witness an increase in the number of participating countries from 32 to 48. The football body launched the official brand in Los Angeles, USA, in the presence of football legends tagged "We are 26" with official countdown. Argentina are current champions after a 3-2 win over France in the final of Qatar 2022 World Cup. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe.
With that, we've come to the end of News Hour. Do well to follow us across all of our media platforms. I'm Sagir Ibrahim, and on behalf of the crew, good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.